All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. I am Teresa McDonald, and this is the Derita Matters meeting. We're we do this every first Thursday at 9 a.m. on Zoom, and this year we will do an in-person meeting in June and again in December, and we'll share details as we finalize plans for those two in-person meetings. But here are the dates for 2024. No meeting in July. It's just too close to the 4th of July. So we've decided to take the month off, and then August will be, hopefully a lot of neighborhood meetings in person, but that would be on the first Tuesday, and we'll have our Zoom as usual on August 1st. In August is the neighborhood night out, and I'm hoping that a lot of our Derita neighborhoods will have an event for neighborhood night out. We're slowly growing the neighborhoods that participate in that, and we'll talk more about that as well. Just to let you know what we cover in these meetings, the center of Derita is really here around Mallard Creek and West Sugar Creek, the downtown business area, and then oh, I changed my slide, sorry. The boundaries roughly, just to create some limit to what we try to track in these meetings, is 77 over here in the west and 85 in the south, and then Harris Boulevard. So everything inside that shape is what we cover. I do get a lot of data and keep up and look up stuff so that I have a big picture idea, and the data comes from the quality of life survey or the quality of life report, and that's available. And these are the neighborhood tracts. I think they're census tracts, so it doesn't exactly correspond with the shape with the areas that I showed you before, but it's close enough. And if you ever want to know, what the numbers are, and you can look up just about anything, from public safety, education, housing, calls for service, 311, all of that data is here, and you can visit that. When you get these slides after the meeting, there'll be a link, and you'll be able to check that out. All right. I am going to start with introductions. I did say I'm Teresa McDonald. I am a realtor with Alan Tate. I'm on the Derita Statesville Road Community Organization Board. I am also on the Planning Commission for the City of Charlotte, and being a resident of Derita, Allen Hills, since 2007. And I'm going to call on you guys to introduce yourselves, and you'll have to unmute and introduce yourselves. Sylvia.
I'm Sylvia Cannon, longtime resident of Derita, president of the Allen Hills, Cary Hills Community Group, and also president of the Derita Statesville Road Group. And I am proud to be representing this area. I am going to take part in the Pride community deal that they're doing to try to get us a little more noticeable to the city for a few things that we need, and try to work together, and we'll make it.
Thank you, Sylvia. And that's the Pride magazine. Just so we know. And that is on the 8th, a luncheon, right? All right. Thomas.
Thomas Templeton. I'm also a longtime resident of the Derita area, specifically the Royal Oaks neighborhood, where I'm the former president of the neighborhood association here. And for those that don't know, Royal Oaks is the neighborhood at the corner of Sugar Creek and Graham, basically behind the fire station there.
Thank you, Thomas. Mel Renner. Good morning.
Sorry about that. Yes, I serve on the board for the Derita Statesville Community Organization. 18 years as past HOA president of the Forest Pond community, and retired from the city of Charlotte, where I was a procurement officer for 12 years, spending millions of the taxpayers' dollars. So that's pretty much me.
Thank you, Mel. Jeffrey Simpson.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Jeffrey Simpson. I'm the president of the Farmington Association, which is in between Mallard Creek and West Sugar Creek. What else? What else do I do? I'm part of different boards in Charlotte, such as one of them is the Neighborhood Matching Grants, and also the Citizens Review Board. So my schedule and stuff like that's quite full, but I'm proud to be associated with the DSRCO.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeffrey. Shantae Bullock.
Hi, my name is Shantae Bullock. I've been a resident of the Scottsboro community since 2012, in which I sit on the board. And that's pretty much, and just the president of the board as well.
Thank you. John Hoig. John, are you there? I'm not sure if John is still here. Let's go to Sarah Morton.
Hi, my name is Sarah Morton. I kind of grew up around Allen Hills. My grandma was a long-term resident and bought a house about 3 years ago in downtown Derita.
Wonderful. Glad to see you. Emily?
Hey everybody, I'm Emily. I live over on Gibbon Road, actually quite close to Sarah. So I've been here for a couple of years and own another property on Rockwall Church Road. So that's me.
Awesome. Larry? Larry Logan?
Yes, this is Larry Logan. I'm a resident of Harrington Woods Association since 2015, a past president of the Harrington Woods HOA.
Awesome. Thank you. And Mark Watson, I see you introduced yourself in chat. Not sure if you want to speak. Maybe not. Mark Watson is also with us from the Sugar Springs neighborhood, which is off of Mineral Springs Road. All right, thank you, everybody. We've got 13 people on the call, so I will just run through. It's a lot of housekeeping, but I do have some updates. So let's go. A lot of you attended the call with the developer who is under contract to purchase the Puckett site. They're working through their due diligence. They're not going to be with us today to give us an update, but they will be with us next month. And I did summarize kind of what they're working on. There used to be a pond there, so there's some kind of stormwater drainage culvert on the site, and they are working through with the US Army Corps of Engineers on that. They're also working through various financial models. So that's related to how they can make the whole thing work. And they'll update us. And then of course they're working on some renderings that they can show us, so that we can see what the plaza at the corner would look like. And yeah, they're as things stand right now, they do not need a rezoning. The current zoning does allow for housing at that site. So the rezoning process is not part of this. It's just, the developer is working with us to understand, what we would like to see, in as much as we don't own the property or have the money to contribute anything towards their development, but they do want the community to be happy with what they bring to that site. So we'll look forward to an update from them next month. The Derita art project. This is the Derita mural project that we had to flip from the ICE building on North Graham Street, which is no longer providing that permission to put a mural on their building. So we have relocated. We have permission from Phil Harris, who's the owner of this site, the old fire tower, which is next to the old Derita fire station building. That's at Gibbon and Sugar Creek, and those plans are coming along. These are renderings of what that's going to look like, and we'll get an update, I think next month, and there will be an event. There'll be a reveal event at Derita Design on Gibbon Road before it's installed. But that is coming along, and it should be installed before the summer. So very happy to see that. It'll be a very visible sign to mark that you're in Derita. And it can be seen, from the road, from the rail as well, and both sides of, from Gibbon Road and Sugar Creek. So
For what it's worth, I've been in conversations with Hashim, and I'm pushing for a flagpole on that very top platform, right in the middle of it, to help showcase our honoring the American flag like we do along the Sugar Creek, and it could also double as a Christmas tree decoration if you strung lights from the pole over to the corners. Anyway, just to enhance what you already see there, and so I've been in some conversations with Hashim, and as even for the benefit of the Derita sign, I asked him to inquire as to whether or not there's access to electricity.
Okay, to light it up at night. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and with a lot of things like this, and we'll have Sylvia talk about the flags in a minute, but there's not just the installation, there's the ongoing maintenance and handling of it that we have to account for. So anyway, we'll watch for some updates on that. Hashim is not with us this morning, but hopefully we'll get him on in March. And of course, if he does, if we have a reveal event at Derita Design, I will send that invitation out. And his studio is just an amazing place to visit. So even without an invitation, you can check out Derita Design and see they do events there on Saturday mornings, crafts, sewing. They have movie nights and just really interesting, great space to have in Derita. All right, 2 events coming up, and they happen to be on the same night. So this is an embarrassment of, not an embarrassment, I'm sorry. But yeah, just a lot of things on the same night. So I'm hoping that some guys on this call will be able to attend these events and report back to us. Because Derita kind of sits in both these districts. This community conversation is hosted by Council Member Victoria Watlington. She is now an at-large council member. She's holding this in District 2. It's at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church on Beatties Ford Road. There'll be a lot of departments from the city there. So it's always good to go. You can actually talk one-on-one with the city department. And of course, they will also present stuff. The district attorney's office will be there. So that will be a good one. And if anybody's in District 2, that would be great if you could. I cannot attend, and Sylvia cannot attend. We have our Allen Hills meeting that same night. So I would love for somebody on this call to attend that. And then Hidden Valley has a town hall, I'm sorry, with the District 1 rep, Dante Anderson, and they have invited code enforcement, the Sugar Creek Corridor team. So this is another event that is going to be very worthwhile for somebody from our team. So if you live in Royal Oaks, Allen Hills, that's all District 1. And, you know, if you just have an interest in the Sugar Creek Corridor, that over there would be a great meeting. So I would encourage somebody, you don't have to volunteer today, but please put it on your calendar. And if you do attend, bring us an update for next month's meeting, or just some thoughts for next month's meeting.
Yeah, I'll be out of town for that, Teresa, so I can't make it to that.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot all on the same night. So there'll be
Teresa,
other opportunities, but yeah, if there's anybody, and these slides will go out, I'll put the same call to the whole email list, and hopefully we'll get people from Derita attending.
Teresa, there's a town hall meeting I have noted I was invited to on the 10th with Malcolm Graham at the same place. Is that similar, or is that something different?
Oh, I have not seen an invite from
I'll send it to
Malcolm
you.
Graham. So yeah, send that, because that's on the 10th. That will be good to attend as well. So I would expect, because this is his district where Ms. Watlington is having her meeting. So anyway, yes, please send that to me, and then I'll include it in the slides, and maybe more people can make the February 10th.
Yeah, because I got to see Carrie wants that too. And I think I have an address, so I'll send that. I'll CC you, and you can distribute it if you wish.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know that I've seen an invite. I'm on his list, so maybe I just missed it. But thank you for bringing that up. So mark your calendars for the 10th. I'll be out of town as well, so I will not be able to attend any of these. All right, next update and just sort of something to watch. Both the city and the county are doing their annual budgeting process, and there's lots of opportunities to provide input. They want to hear from us. They want to know what our priorities are. And this is the city here. These are all links. So you can check it out when you get the slides. They did have Budgeting 101 already. The event was at Camp North End. I did go to that. But the whole process starts today. So you can go and complete the budget, the input survey. There's a bunch of listening sessions. They're virtual, mostly virtual, which makes it a whole lot easier for a lot of people to attend. And then I think there's one that is in person. So try to get to those. You can even go and fool around with their simulation tool and just understand, or all the things you have to balance with the money that you have. And I think even all of that information gets to the city and the city council, because we have the manager and the budget department putting together a recommended budget, and then the city council will ultimately have to review that. They probably make changes depending on what they've heard from the community, and then they have to approve and vote on it to make it final. We haven't had a tax rate increase in a long time. Of course, tax values went up a lot, so our actual tax bills as taxpayers have gone up. But be part of those conversations, because if we, sometimes we're going to have to accept that we need higher taxes, or if we don't want higher taxes, we've got to figure out how to prioritize the revenue that does come in. So check that out. That's the city, and then the county. And if you don't know, the city is the way it is in Charlotte. The city is responsible for public safety. So that's the police department, the fire department, stormwater, water, and roads, transportation. And then the county handles schools, parks and rec, and public health, roughly. That's how that works. So get involved, provide input. Both of these contain links where you can get more information, and just be a part of that process. Rezonings, there has not been anything new really on the rezoning front. We covered all of this in our last meeting. A couple of these have been approved. This little site here right on North Graham and Cannon Avenue, that rezoning was approved. And I think everything else is pretty much still in process over here. Nothing new really. I have all the details here with links, so you can see. Some of these are old. These two are 2022 applications that are still pending. I have emails into the city planning department to figure out if they're still going to move forward, or if they've been effectively withdrawn and they just haven't updated the site. So hopefully I'll have an update on that for next month, but
Teresa, this is just speculation, but maybe maybe they were pre-UDO submissions and they might have reconfigured them or something for post-UDO consideration. No idea, but maybe that's why.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't really moved forward at all since they were posted. Like they don't have any documents attached to the application. Like each rezoning will have the documents attached, the site plan, the community meeting minutes, the staff does a pre-hearing analysis, then they do that's a pre-public hearing analysis. Then they do the post-public hearing analysis. The zoning committee reviews it, and there's a report that's also attached. So both of these have none of that. So I don't know why they're still kind of in the system, but I'll get an update on that. And this is another one that I think has been withdrawn. This is the site of the old gas station at North Graham and 85, right on the corner there. And the Charlotte Truck Center was going to, we went to the presentation. They were rezoning the site to add a building there that was going to be their sales office and like a display. They do truck sales, but it also does not seem to have moved forward. It's still showing as pending. And I've got a feeling that one is withdrawn, but the city site is just not updated. So it does mean that site, which is a bit of a nuisance site because it's vacant, and you know, we keep having people dumping stuff there and kind of camping out. There's an old car wash there. I don't know. I haven't seen any problems with it lately, but I know that there have been in the past some issues. So would love to see, you know, some new owner moving in there and doing something to occupy the site. But
and Teresa, what about that associated zoning that that same
yes,
company had for like off right there on Cannon Avenue? They were going to expand their parking area or something.
yeah, I think that one was approved. I don't know if I have that here. No, I don't have it on this list, but I believe that one was approved. It was just like a half acre that they were adding to their site and for parking. I think it was approved. I'll check on that. But yeah, this piece was the same petitioner, and I don't know that they're going ahead with that. So we'll get an update. Let's see. This one is a 2-acre site off of Racine, off of North Graham. It's kind of a little parcel that's between single family and industrial. And I think it was in front of the zoning committee this week. I haven't had a chance to look at that report or the recording of the meeting, but they've reduced it from 14 to 10 units, and I'm pretty sure it will be approved, and that'll come up for a vote with the city council in this month. It's this month now, February. So that one will come up for a vote in February. And I think this one possibly is the same. This one's a little bit outside of the area that we track, but just it's really close. on a Tando just the other side of 85, and just very interesting to see all the changes that are coming to that part of the city. A lot of it was just industrial, almost wasteland, very underused parcels, and a lot of it is turning to residential and becoming almost an extension of Noda on North Tryon, sort of between North Tryon and North Graham Street. And then on North Graham Street, you've got Camp North End that is spurring a whole lot of new residential development right around Camp North End. Very exciting to see all those changes if you haven't checked them out. Next month, March, I want to get a group together and go and tour Camp North End and just kind of get an update of everything that's going on over there. That's very close to Derita, and it's going to bring, certainly it's a destination for us in Derita that is very close. We don't have to go across the entire city to get to some interesting activities and restaurants and breweries and just gathering spaces. So very interesting to see. So that's it from the rezonings. I've got a list here of just the things that are under construction right now. I'm not going to go into them. Most of these are building at this time. I did see that the site at Mallet Creek and Hubbard Road, this will be interesting to you guys, off of Hubbard Road. It was approved for senior housing. The rezoning was approved, and I see the site is for sale now. So that whatever development is not going to move forward in a hurry over there at that site. It's about a 5-acre site at right at the corner of Hubbard and Mallet Creek.
Yeah, that should be at the stoplight, right, Teresa?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, there was a house there that has been demolished. And it was approved for senior housing. So not sure when that will happen. Things take years.
I can give you a quick report on Derita townhomes. They
Yeah.
look like they might be closer to getting finished. They've been under construction for a very long time. What's encouraging of late is they're planting quite a few trees, and that's making it look really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, landscaping makes a huge difference, and you know, it improves everything if the street, what you see from the street is, you know, looks nice and well cared for. It improves everybody's level of happiness. I believe that has been scientifically studied, so I believe it. But thank you for that. Derita Townhomes, if you don't know, and you may not know unless you drive along Rumpel Road, which is only one way in and one way out, off of University City Boulevard. There were some really raggedy townhomes there that have been renovated, and they've added some buildings to the site. So a big improvement, I think. It wasn't a rezoning that came before us at all, because it was an existing site with an existing zoning that allowed them to make those improvements there. I'm also excited to see that things are improving and looking up on Gibbon Road. This little strip mall is right next to the gas station. It changed hands and they did a renovation. It's looking a whole lot better, as well as anything can look, with a big parking lot in front of it, which, as you know, is not my favorite look, but they've got some new tenants in there. I haven't really explored it, but I'm happy to see, you know, some of these buildings have not seen a facelift or any investment in decades. So happy to see that. That's Gibbon Road, right next to the gas station, almost at the corner of Gibbon and Nevin.
Teresa, the
Yes,
furniture place across the street from this is up for sale. So
yes.
don't
That's-
know, yeah, don't
Yeah.
know what's going to go in there. That's going to be something else we need to watch.
Yes, we are watching that. There, that's my next slide. It's not for sale, it's for lease, and they have 2 big spaces there. I don't have an update on how it's going, but I will stay in touch with the broker over there. But also they have done a nice renovation over there. And we'll be looking to see what they're able to attract. But something else I was reading was that all this kind of commercial space is very much in demand all over. So I don't think they'll have any trouble leasing it. And they are quite big spaces. So we'll stay on top of that and hope that, but you know, if you're talking to anybody who's looking for space for a business, these are some good opportunities here. And that is the site of Kazai's furniture that was there for decades, I'm sure. And then I just keep the slides in for some of these other sites that we're haven't seen any movement on, but they're still out there. The Derita Triangle, which is that site where Mallard Creek and Graham Street come together. And there's a triangle of surplus land there. It belongs to NCDOT. And they would be very happy for the city or Parks and Rec or the county to take that over. I think that was the conversation a few years back. So it's still on the radar to do something at that site, because it is kind of an entrance into Derita, where we could potentially have some kind of signage, monument, art, sculpture. So I keep throwing these things out here in case, you know, somebody has the energy to take it on as a project, because there are grants available to do this kind of thing. I've just used this example here. This is in Monroe Road. Monroe, I believe this is Monroe Road, and this might be Conference Drive on the south side, and they have this beautiful art piece with benches, and you know, it becomes a gathering space. They have some events there and so on. So it's kind of the inspiration for that. Hopefully we'll get some interest in moving on forward on those. But as there is money available to do projects like this, I'm hoping that somebody is inspired to take it on. And this would be very useful for like the residents in Walnut Creek. All these housing, Rockwell Park, of course, has a big park, but you know, for some of these other communities around here to have a park space that is useful, would be a good thing. So I'll just keep that in the slides. I won't go over them every month, but I was just pulling some inspiration from my travels around the place. This is more for downtown Derita, but I was very impressed with this. This is in Mooresville. You can see this is the original First Presbyterian Church of Mooresville. It's, you know, over 100 years old on this site. And then they, this is a building. I'm not sure if it's a newer building or if it's an old building that they renovated, but the back part is a church. I should have taken a picture of it, but it is a church where they hold their sort of contemporary services. They have a congregation that does more contemporary type services. And then in the front, they have this amazing coffee shop. And I thought that was very inspiring to see a church doing something like that in a downtown area. So I just throwing that out there. We do have a couple of churches in downtown Derita that have this kind of land, this kind of opportunity. The Derita Baptist, right at the corner of Sugar Creek and Nevin.
Yes.
And of course, Derita Presbyterian, which is a bit further down Sugar Creek at Hunter or Rumpel. So just more inspiring ideas. And then I came across these as I'm thinking about what may potentially come at Puckett's or some of the other sites over there that may get redeveloped. Just these are some good examples of what a downtown Main Street kind of looks like. This is 1900, built in 1900. This is in downtown Salisbury, a very typical building. And these are the places that we love, that we like to visit, that have a mix of uses. There's commercial in the bottom, and this is residential apartments above. That's just 2 stories. This one was built in 2010. I spotted this in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And it has their commercial spaces on the bottom and then residential apartments above, and even some kind of rooftop terrace here. So just including those bits of inspiration. If you guys come across anything that you would like to include, let me know. And then I always keep this one. We will see what the developer of the Puckett site has in mind. It won't be anything like this exactly, but they are planning some kind of plaza at the corner of Sugar Creek and Mallard Creek. And so, you know, we're hoping that that will bring a sense of place as well, and something that looks good at the corner of Puckett. I hate to lose Puckett's and both the gathering place and the building, and so, and they know that. So, you know, we'll see what they come up with their design, because of course there's practical issues, there's financial issues with really trying to work around the existing building if they were to keep it, or to incorporate something from that in their new development. So,
And Teresa, that development there at Puckett's, that they decided that they did not need to move forward with a rezoning effort there because of the current zoning at that location for what they were planning to do. Is that correct still?
I believe so. I know that there has been some discussion with some of the planning commissioners and the planning department. But so yeah, I don't know. It seems cut and dried to me that the current zoning allows for housing, multifamily housing. It's B2, and that was always allowed there. The new policy plan has that designated as neighborhood center, which also allows that. It allows a mix of uses that are compatible with residential and Main Street kind of idea. But
Well,
yeah,
I guess the point of that being that if they do not have to move forward with any kind of rezoning process, that really severely limits any input or any effective input that we would have to that design that they're working on. Is that not, and basically if they don't have to do a rezoning, we're kind of left with their goodwill solely, correct? Because if they could just design it the way that they feel like, without having to listen to us in any way, shape, or form in reality, how we don't seem to have much input into that
right.
that we get to have.
Right. No, and that's true. The good news is that the new UDO has most of the requirements that we would be asking for. Just the way it looks from the street, the landscaping, the sidewalk, the even just recognizing that this is a corner on a main street in a downtown area. All of that it's already accounted for. It's just how it looks, and I am grateful that they're still communicating with us and holding meetings and so on. So I'm encouraged. I mean, I'm still hopeful that we'll see something that will be an improvement. Even though I hate to lose Puckett and that that kind of iconic building there. It is otherwise a pretty nasty eyesore in the middle of a downtown Main Street. That the rest of the property.
Well, along with that, also though, I mean, you and some of the other folks had a what I think is a very good idea there at the intersection of Sugar Creek at the end of Mallard Creek there, to have a traffic circle there with some, like you're talking about, some sort of
Monument.
a monument or clock or something there.
Yeah.
At that, it is this. Do you happen to know if anybody in the city, or oh God, here we go back to the North Carolina DOT again, being on Sugar Creek Road? Is anybody trying to say like, oh yeah, hey, this is, we could have a traffic circle here, traffic calming, we keep traffic moving through Derita like that, and have some sort of feature there centered in that location, so that, like you're saying, it's really the main square of Derita, so to speak.
Yeah.
And how would that tie in possibly with the Sugar Creek corridor money that they got, and anybody even thinking about along those lines at all that you know about?
All of that. Yeah. Well, one thing that has been approved is a federal grant, infrastructure grant for transit along this corridor from the downtown Derita all the way to the light rail station. That will bring a dedicated bus that just goes backwards and forwards, which would be great for a lot of destinations along that route. All the development that's happening at the old Asian Corners Mall, and then of course Derita. I'm hoping that Derita would be a nice destination that people would want to come here for breakfast or a haircut or you know, to hang out in the new coffee shop. I don't know.
Teresa, you were talking about the buses going back at the rail or whatever, going back and forth from the station to whatever. Where is there any plans that you know of where to put the station?
No, none of that has been decided. It'll come to us. We will have a chance to have input on that. But the grant has been, the funding is there. It's, I don't know, $15 million that has been approved for this project. And it's going to be a few years to play out, but it will, it's going to mean a transit hub somewhere there in downtown Derita that would be a place, you know, where you can park your bicycle or your car, I guess, or I don't know, and take the bus to the light rail. Probably not cars, but yeah, don't have any details on where anything will be. But yeah, just to carry on answering Thomas's question, yes, NCDOT is the biggest player in this corridor in terms of trying to get a roundabout or something there. And then I talked to somebody from Sustain Charlotte, and of course, you know, they're very focused on things that are much closer to downtown that are already very dense. So
Well,
but
you know, now,
he
but
was encouraging.
if you know now it's, you know, transition time. Now's the time to plan for these things
Yes,
now,
no, exactly.
rather than when they build up something and then like, where do we fit these things later?
Right.
You
No,
know, so,
exactly. And that's why we're doing this. And he was just a bit encouraging, saying that, you know, there's definitely been a shift with NCDOT in terms of recognizing that, you know, some of their roads go through downtown, you know, and very urban areas, and they have to think differently about those roads. So it's,
well,
you know, it's car
well,
brain. We all
well,
have.
and once again, we're up again because, you know, we're up with the stupid Graham Street extension thing, trying to get NCDOT. Thanks to Sylvia, we finally got them to move forward with that project. That, you know, they just don't do well in urban environments, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and especially, you know, environments like Derita, where, you know, stuff has been buried for decades and nobody even remembers where it is. Speaking of utilities and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Biggest problem with Graham Street Extension was the state did not put drop dead dates on these people that have buried stuff under. And AT&T lied to me trying to get their stuff fixed. Big
Imagine
time.
that. Imagine a corporation lying to someone. Oh my gosh.
And
Okay,
that's when
we
they
move on.
had to close down because they would not get that cable fixed and moved, because the bank, it went out to the bank call center, and they didn't want to get, even on the weekend, they didn't want to, you know, mess up their call center. That's exactly what happened. It wasn't necessarily the workers, it was Raleigh and the companies that had their crap under there.
Right. If anybody doesn't remember all of this, this is what was going on from 2015 to 2020, when they finally opened the road, the construction of North Graham. And now we have all the problems with a huge wide road and a massive intersection that was all horribly designed, and it is just going to be ongoing problems over there at that intersection. I haven't heard anything lately. Maybe people have gotten over the hump and they've learned the intersection, and there haven't been a ton of crashes there at North Graham and Sugar Creek. But There were some issues at that intersection, and mainly it's just because it's so huge. It's way bigger than it needs to be, very much a potential for a roundabout rather than a huge intersection that people can't make sense of, even in a car, never mind if you're on foot. So yeah, lots of work to do. Anyway, these are the things, and yes, I'm encouraged because we have the idea that North Carolina Department of Transportation is starting to recognize that they need a different approach, and they will work with the city to design the streets better when they're in really urban environments. And that's why we have to be at this table, because we have to prepare, as you say, that now is the time to plan this right, as opposed to when we have a lot more density right in downtown Derita, which will come.
No, it's already here
No,
with all the apartments and everything they're building out here. It's
but still,
getting
it's
worse
not.
every
I
day.
don't think you've seen anything yet.
No,
Uh,
that is not density. You've got to drive down Central Avenue or South End and
Yeah.
see what we mean, what we're talking about as the city grows and grows up. There will be more. I mean, we are exactly placed right between University City and Uptown Charlotte. It's the obvious place to put more people. Unless we want people driving from Kannapolis or further to be able to live and work here. So there'll be more there, and if it's planned right and you have transit, it's very doable. We can support a lot more people. We just can't support them driving one to a car everywhere. That's the part where you start to struggle with how many people can be in an area. So yeah, just on that, there's still so much vacant land close to downtown Derita that is going to be developed. I don't know when this could be, not even in my lifetime, but it is here. We've got this huge parcel, and this one, Mel has reported he's seen some action, some surveying going on back there. This is behind the BP and the Wells Fargo on West Sugar Creek. There's 12 acres there. There's a 3-acre piece here that's owned by a different owner. This parcel, this almost 10 acres, has just changed hands. Talking about the same owner, family has had it for decades. It's just changed hands. So things will start to happen. I just included Bible Presbyterian Church here as well, because they've got a big site. I don't know offhand. Okay, 6.5 acres, and it connects Hunter Avenue. And it's on this corner with University City Boulevard, North Graham Street and Rumpel Road. So all of this is relatively practically vacant land. So, this will be developed, and this piece here is owned by Forest Pond. I don't think it's buildable, but it's potential for greenway. And then this is the huge parcel that Selectron has. And they have already dedicated land here, right of way for greenway. And then this is a big park land. It's just right now, it's undeveloped park owned by the county. So, there's a lot of potential with all this basically vacant land that is right in downtown Derita. And so, the future that I see is a lot more residents that have access within walking distance to a transit hub, whether or not it's light rail. I mean, that's the other discussion that's going on, is the red line would have a station somewhere in here if that gets moving. But without the red line, there would still be some kind of transit hub that would connect via bus to the light rail station somewhere over here. So we can certainly support a lot more residents that could potentially be car free if they wanted to, which, you know, more and more people do try to have that kind of lifestyle where they don't have to drive for every single need.
I can make a few comments about this area because I'm intimately familiar with it. About a third of it, for what it's worth, is an abandoned railroad bed. There's a great potential for a greenway going all the way from essentially Derita to that park, as we've discussed earlier, Teresa. Right now, the majority of it is very heavily wooded. And I get at least, it's not an exaggeration, 7 or 8 deer every other day in my backyard. And I back on this property, my home does. I can walk through the abandoned railroad bed area to the backside of Puckett's Advanced Auto, that area. But anyway, it just has a lot of potential. One of the things that I've been very much a proponent of is because my significant other, Gail Haley, lives on Ridge Lane Road. There's the huge subdivision here that you see pretty much in the middle of this slide. And there's only one way in and one way out, and that's Rumpel Road off the University City Boulevard. That road, Rumpel Road, I think it changes names on further down, but it desperately needs to be extended over to IBM Drive. And there's a perfect, I've been wanting to have a conversation with the developers of that park, because that road desperately needs to be extended and maybe have the parking area for the park in that same vicinity, so, you know, people can enjoy it. But that connection, and the city, as I understand, is all about connectivity. And trust me, I know that that's better than living in cul-de-sac city like I do. I mean, I enjoy it to some extent, but so again, I'm just very, very familiar with this entire area and what, you know, the possibilities are, and I'm always about bold visions that are worthwhile. And this is an area where, you know, it could happen.
Yeah, I'm excited, and you know, we just have to pay attention, and when the opportunity comes to provide input, we need to be there, because yeah, this connection here from Clooney Lane, I think it is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Clooney Lane to IBM Drive, there's a couple of creeks there that need to be crossed. So it's not that simple, but it's an obvious connection that really has to be made. And with this now belonging to the county and no longer IBM property, definitely the chances are much higher that this connection will be made at some point. So we'll just try to stay on top of all of this. Most of this here is all privately owned property. So, you know, we just do the best we can to have influence. If we can't have control, hopefully we can have some influence and input.
The area there, but at Forest Pond is a major sewer easement. So there's no real opportunity for building there, but a piece of a greenway would be great.
Yeah, and if you go along the greenways in Charlotte, they basically do track along sewer easement. It's the creek. They put the sewer easement next to the creek because it's the lowest point generally in any topography. And then, you know, that right of way already exists. And yeah, to put greenway there is really a great use of all that land that is already controlled by either the city or the utilities.
The
So,
only real obstacle I see is crossing North Graham. You'd be putting your
yeah,
life in your hands.
I know. So, you know, these are future challenges. And it's gonna be it's really going to be a matter of trying to find ways to slow down the traffic on that road, which is not easy to do because it's such a straight shot, it's such a wide road. Even the most sedate drivers will tend to speed in a situation like that. So yeah, that will be a challenge over there. I don't know what the potential is to go under the road. Probably not, but you know, we might even need a pedestrian bridge or something, or a light. But yeah, those will be challenges. So I'm just dreaming here because I don't have any more updates. Greenway that is under construction and will open in the next year or so is the section of Irwin Creek Greenway that connects Allen Hills Park with Nevin Community Park and goes all the way actually out to Statesville Road. But I don't have anything more really. The rest of my slides are just general links and places to get information if you need them. Information about our elected officials. Oh, and of course, you know, we do have elections coming up. So it's a presidential election, if you haven't heard. And I'm not sure there are any local races on the ballot. There may be, but city and county was last year. They're on the off year. So
I think don't you have a governor's race on this one?
yes, there is a governor's race. You're right. So
We
yeah,
have the governor, including the whole council of state, which is statewide, secretary of state, attorney general, lieutenant governor, auditor, insurance commissioner, I think. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
council of state, but they are on the ballot. And then Congress, we have several House districts in the area.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Well, you can keep us updated, but of course the primary election will be on March 5th. And then of course the general will be in November. So
And be sure you bring your IDs.
yes. Yeah, and we had that in November. The ID requirement was in place, and we had no issues at all at our precinct. People, and if you don't have your ID, you can still vote with a provisional ballot. But I think
you're right.
Yeah.
But you have to, if you left your ID at home and you want to go ahead, you don't want to go home and get it, then you have to present your ID downtown to the board or your vote will not count.
Okay, I'm sorry, that is incorrect. It is partially, there's some bits to that. Let me just explain. So I'm actually a poll judge for precinct 82. And I don't want to speak in that capacity, but I just took the training. I took the training last year, and I, studied the book. And so, as it comes to not having your ID, if you do not have an acceptable form of photo identification, you may vote. It will be provisional, as Teresa said. If you so choose, Sylvia, if you so choose, you can go down and show your ID, and it will convert your provisional into a regular, right? It doesn't mean a provisional does not mean it will not be counted.
That's exactly what I said. If you don't take your ID down there and prove that you did vote legally, then it will not count. But if you
That is
show up
incorrect.
with your ID,
That
it
is,
can
I'm
be
so
converted.
please stop sharing that information. That is incorrect. A provisional ballot may be counted. You cannot say that it will not be counted. Provisional ballots are adjudicated by the Board of Elections. So a regular ballot that basically the adjudication of your validity to vote occurs at the polling site with your proper ID and your entry in the poll book, right? Your registration identified in the poll book, your ID declaring that or proving that you are you, and your vote there at the precinct on election day. That is basically the adjudication process for that vote. If you cannot be properly identified, you will vote provisionally. If it is determined at a future point by the Board of Elections that you were indeed eligible to vote, that provisional ballot will be counted. If not, then it will be, not. And I do not pretend to be an expert on that back end part of the process, but I just want to be very clear. A provisional ballot, you do not have to go down to BOE to present your ID for it to potentially count. And we're instructed to say that we cannot say if a provisional will or will not be counted because we do not have the information that the BOE has to adjudicate. It's basically like a court case. They take the available information and they say yay or nay. And so one more time, I just want to please encourage you to not say that the vote will not count.
I just finished my training too, and I'm also a judge, and I served as a chief judge for 20 years.
Okay, well then it is very
I'm not going to
concerning
argue
that
with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I will take my book and I will go back and I will reread the changes that they made for this year. And if I'm wrong, then I will correct it. If I'm not, I'll stand by.
Okay, cool.
All right, thanks, folks. Definitely the easiest is bring your ID and vote, and of course, vote. There'll be plenty of opportunities with a long early voting, and then of course on election day. So get out there. And does anybody else have anything to add from your corner? Any updates, anything that you want to share, any successes, concerns?
I didn't have any if you want to maybe take this offline, I just had a question about the house on Mineral Springs, the single family. Your slide said that it was being put up by Taylor Morrison. I was just wondering how you knew that, because I looked at the owner and it was like some dude out of Arizona.
You talking about the site right at Mineral Springs and North Graham, where the townhomes are?
No, there's a single family across from the Springs, across from Carriage Oaks, or not Carriage Oaks. I don't know. It's down there closer to I-85.
Okay, no, I don't think I was talking about that in my slides. I'm just trying to get back to it. So no, yeah, what I'm talking about, Taylor Morrison, is the townhomes at Mineral Springs and North Graham.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Kind of I mean, it almost reaches University City Boulevard as well. It's a big piece over there. That is Taylor Morrison Townhomes. But yeah, I don't know the single family at all, so I'll look at that. But it's just one house, or it's single family.
Somebody split off their side yard, and on the left there in the middle, so I don't know what you're referring to on that on that slide, but somebody split off their side yard and they're starting to build something.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but we've seen a lot of that sort of infill. I think this
Oh,
is infill
slash townhomes. I gotcha.
yeah. Yeah, and that was just one way to kind of break this up. Single
Well, I'll
family,
try to find out.
yeah.
Maybe is there a way to like just go and see what permits have been pulled?
Yes, yeah, you can, if you go into Polaris, there's a section, and let me see if I can share that. And I've got to move my Zoom bar. Are you seeing Polaris now?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we can even look at the parcel you're talking about, if I can get to it. Hang on, I'm not even in Derita. Let's see, Lake Drive. All right, you are talking about Mineral Springs, somewhere here. One of these sites?
Yeah, so if you look around El Dorado and Cheyenne.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so across the street and a few east from where you're at right now. Across Mineral Springs and a few east.
This way?
No, right.
Am I on the right side of Mineral Springs, or should I be looking on this side?
Yeah, if you zoom in and you see that that rectangle, so where you're highlighted now, if you zoom in.
So here looks like both of these look like they have potential to divide.
There you go. That one on the far right there, that
One.
blank. If you go one, two, three more.
Oh, this side?
Yep. So they're building something there right now, and I looked that dude up.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty unique name, and I only got one hit, and he was like Arizona or California or something.
Okay. Yeah. So if you go to Polaris, if you scroll down on this side, you can go to my mouse, permits here. And it fills in the parcel number for you, and you can see that there are some permits here. I'm not an expert on this piece of how to interpret this, but sometimes it's easy. This is not going to tell us anything. CATV service, I don't know what that means. Anyway, that's 2021. But you can go and look, and if there is a permit to build on this site, it will appear here, and they should post it as well. They should post that it's like a box that they have to post the permit number. Yeah, there is a new residential plan here that is posted. So you can see the various agencies that have reviewed this plan: urban forestry, city engineering. There's a few things under, I don't know how far the construction is, but there's the electrical, mechanical, and I forget what P stands for. But
Nice. I'll go dig in.
yeah, yeah. And once you look at these permits, you can actually see who the builder is. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure how to read all of this. But if you click on all these links, you'll start to build more information.
Good. Very good. Thank you so much.
But yeah, that's on Polaris. Lots of publicly available information there. All right. Anybody else got anything that you're curious about? While I'm on showing the slide, we can see this also county-owned parkland right here in the middle of Sugar Springs that has been purchased and will eventually the county will get around to actually developing these parks, you know, adding whatever they're going to add to make it a usable park. And there'll be public input at that time as well for the neighborhood.
Teresa, one
Yeah.
more update.
Yeah,
Princess and Graham Street.
yes,
You know, the park bought part of that, and then there was one house that still left.
yes.
They have now acquired that.
Oh, really?
Ah,
Hallelujah.
wait a minute, you buried the lead there, Sylvia. That was the good news of the day for me. So okay.
I
They are.
know. I'm trying
I
to
was
just pull
I
it
was
up.
told by the owner of the property that they were to close out that back in December, and then they got to stay because the weather, you know, with so much rain and everything. But they told me that they had closed out or was in the process of finishing up, and the county has given them so long to get all that trailer and all that stuff out in the back and clean it up. But they did, yeah, they did. The white piece in the middle there
Yeah,
has now been turned or is part of the,
sold to the county. Awesome.
yes.
Very good news. That's very good news for Royal Oaks that has been around for decades without a park. And of course, all of these new townhomes over here,
Yeah.
they have some walking trails and some park areas within their within the development. But that'll be good news for them.
Well, that's the
Well,
plan. That's the plan anyway. Or
oh
that's what we were
no,
told
the
was
plan, I
plan.
mean, what's in the plan is in the plan. It has to be, you know, what's written into the plan, which I don't have that in front of me right now, but you know, they note on the plan the things that they committed to or that were conditional for the rezoning. So
Well, that I suspect that any of the thing like the park that they promised for the, you know, kids or playgrounds or whatever, and the bridge that they supposedly have made part of that walking path that's in there now. I'm guessing that that'll be the last thing they do after they build out the whole place almost. And they got a
yeah,
long way to go still. So
yes, yeah, that's true. That you know, the order of events is always, you know, it depends on a lot of other factors, but the plan is what they're committed to. That's what the rezoning was conditioned on. So it, you know, that as long as we remember the plan, what's on the plan, which you can always go back and check what's on the plan. And that, if you want to do that, that is easy to do on the Charlotte Explorer site, which unfortunately I don't have it up. But this is another site to bookmark because you can go and look up every past rezoning, and you can see the plan that was agreed to at the time. You have to, there's all these layers here that you can add or select. And they're not in any kind of order, so it's very annoying. Sometimes it looks like it's alphabetical, and then other times it's really not. So bear with me. But yeah, we can certainly go back here and look at that plan, that site plan, and the things that are noted on the site plan that are conditions for the rezoning. So this is rezoning history. It's a lot to look at, and it's a bit clunky, but every single rezoning is on here, even things that go back to the 80s and before. So that Cannon Crossing, I think, is this parcel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it's all there. And you know, just to double check, of course, the city has whole departments that are dedicated to making sure that the development, but you know, meet the requirements of the plan, of the rezoning, of all of that. But if we want to keep a second set of eyes on that, we certainly can. But the approved site plan is here. And it's really hard to read. You'd want to print this out probably or something, but that's the site plan, and all the conditions will be on here. All these notations here. That's all the details about what they committed to and what will be there in the final finished product. There's one, a better one. So hopefully over here, and this would require some permissions from what used to be UPS over here, there could potentially be a trail from this development along here to the new park on Graham Street. But all right, that was a nice tangent. So there's receipts everywhere, lots of publicly available information, and we can always double check on most things to see if people are doing what they said they would do, what they committed to doing. Anybody else got anything? It's 10:30. I do not know.
Always very helpful. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys. If there is nothing else, I'm going to finish up. We've got 6 people left on the call, so I think we're done. And thank you everybody for showing up, and just see if you can attend any of those town halls. Since I will not be able to attend any of them, I'm going to be out of town. But plenty of opportunities to get with the city departments and get with the elected officials, and so that they know who we are and they know we're engaged, and they know to reach out to us when they have stuff that they're planning for our area. So thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.